So the Voice of Free Planet X is a fake interview show where I interview people from various sci-fi and fantasy worlds, aliens, time travelers, robots, superheroes, and in this live recording as part of the Philadelphia Podcast Festival. You guys, the audience, are also going to be a part of it. You weren't expecting that, were you? Thought you would just sit there and not be a part of things. It's not how we do things here. So, what you guys are going to do, what we are here now, as you may notice from the ray guns, we are at the headquarters of the End of Time Club. This is a group of adventurers based around 1930s pulp heroes. So you guys are all adventurers. You are part of the club. You are here in the headquarters being part of the club. Go ahead, think about what sort of adventurers you are. Take a moment. If you haven't decided already, you can figure it out later. But the idea is that you're involved. So it's okay to laugh at funny things you see here. It's okay to gasp if there's anything shocking. It's okay to just to be involved, be engaged. Because these guys are going to engage with you, so you might as well engage with them as well. You don't have to sit on any laughs or anything like that. And I think we're going to have a good show. I'm excited about this. This is the group here, the performers who are amazing. I've been working really hard, and I just love it. So, yeah, if anyone comes late, that's on them. I think we're ready to begin. Yeah, you ready? It's his show. I'm gonna need that though. I have lines too.
I want to thank you all. Thank everyone for coming. As I look at all the faces here, all you members of the End of Time Club. It's nice to see members I've met and members that I haven't met before. People who were there with us at the founding of this club, and those who have come to the fold in just these past few weeks. The End of Time Club was created by adventurers for adventurers. Because there are some things that can only be understood by people who have touched the extraordinary. Now is one of those times, as we mourn the passing of one of our own, the Lacuna.
This is a farce! That's what this is!
Knew it was only a matter of time.
Now do be sensible, old chap.
Sensible? I shall do nothing of the sort!
Indeed. No point in starting now.
Ancient aquatic life wasn't sensible when it trundled out of the sea onto the land, nor were our primate ancestors sensible when they climbed down from the trees. It's far too late for the human race to start being sensible. And I, for one, will not lead the charge.
You'll have to excuse the doctor.
Don't apologize for me!
He's been under a lot of strain.
We've all been under a lot of strain.
Some of us bear it better than others.
Strain? Ha! I laugh at strain! Ha!
See what I mean?
Strain. I can handle. Strain is physical. It is entropy. It is force applied, force resisted, as the ultimate man.
Please, don't. Not this again. Not today.
You knew he was going to say it eventually.
I was hoping he wouldn't.
I was hoping I'd be properly insulated with alcohol by the time it got started.
How'd you do?
Not enough liquor in the world, I'm afraid.
As the ultimate man, molded from birth by the scientific processes of what makes a perfect human specimen. I can handle strain. What I cannot handle is a mystery, an absence. More than that, what strikes me to the very core is seeing my compatriots accept this loss for what it presents itself. We are the End of Time Club. Operative Second!
Yes, old boy.
How many more wars have you kept from happening as a secret agent of the shadow government?
Well, a gentleman never tells.
And you, Abigail Earhart, is there anywhere on this green earth you haven't flown?
On this earth? No.
That's right. You cracked the dimension barrier.
Well, somebody had to. I mean, it was right there.
Lord, brave!
No, don't. I don't like the Lord. You know that, Doc.
Isn't that what they started calling you on that planet? You liberated from that intergalactic dictator, Lord Brave, the Terror Slayer.
I have no control over others' words, as evidenced. But I am not a lord. I am made of the same stuff as anyone else.
I disagree.
What's up, Doc? I don't think I like where you're going.
He's attempting to say that we are more than human. Isn't that right, Doc?
I don't see you disagreeing with me, Rockney.
Now there's an interesting thought. What do you see when you look at me?
I saw you take 6 full metal slugs to the chest and not even flinch during one of your nightly one-woman crusades against crime. Or was I imagining things?
Who's to say? Men's minds are so easily clouded.
I am thinking clearly. I am perhaps the only one in this entire room who is thinking clearly. One of our own is missing. An end of timer. The Lacuna was one of us. And the moment she disappears, we just flat out accept that she's gone.
Now, Dr. C, old boy, I do hate to be the bearer of bad news.
No, you don't.
Be that as it may. We accept the Lacuna is gone because she is gone.
She's dead.
Rockney.
What? Let's call things as they are. The Lacuna is dead.
Not in my opinion. The Lacuna is missing. She is an X. An unknown. Where is the body?
There is no body.
Aha! You see? Until I see evidence of her death, I refuse to believe in anything but her life.
You're a fool.
Madame, I'm a scientist.
Those are not exclusive identities.
Just let it go, Doc. This is supposed to be a wake. This is supposed to be a time to remember the Lacuna, not a shouting match of conspiracy theories. This is not what the Lacuna would have wanted.
And you would know.
Better than you.
The Lacuna was a detective. A knight in search of the truth. She wouldn't want her end to be a question.
And how would you know?
It just stands to reason. She was like me. There's nothing more important than what you don't know. That's what she used to tell me. And by science, she was right.
And that's what's infuriating you, isn't it? That you don't know.
You don't have to be quite so smug about it.
Oh, I'm afraid I do.
And what's your plan? Interrogate each of us until you find out what we know that you don't?
Hardly a fitting memorial for one of our own.
Not if they're not dead!
I believe I can be of some assistance.
Who are you?
Oh, me? Hi, I'm Jared Axelrod. I'm a reporter with Galactic Public Radio.
We're letting reporters into the end of time club now?
He was made a member on my endorsement.
Mr. Axelrod is a special case.
He doesn't look it.
Well, there is something to be said for style. Vulnerable necktie, I mean.
I'll admit, I'm curious. What did you have in mind?
Well, what if instead of interrogations, we had a series of interviews? No, not interviews, remembrances. You five knew the Lacuna the best, right? So I don't think it would be out of place to ask what she meant to you all, for the benefit of those gathered.
We don't need you for that.
Oh, I think that we do. The man has a way with words. Why don't you begin with Doc Cosmos here, since he clearly has a lot to say? Abigail?
Oh, I can think of nothing better.
Is this really the best idea?
I certainly don't think so.
Never mind. It's glorious. Please, continue.
Okay, right. You're Doc Cosmos.
Dr. Gibraltar Anchorhand Cosmos. MD, JSD, PhD, 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 PhD.
Only 6 PhDs, oh boy. I thought you had 9.
Ah. Mentioning the honorary ones would be a little tacky.
Earlier, you referred to yourself as the ultimate man?
I thought we were going to talk about the Lacuna.
Well, we will, but I think it's important to provide some context. Not everyone here may know.
Are you kidding? This is an end of timers meeting. I started this club. You all know who I am, surely.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
No? Well, that's disappointing.
Do you know who they are?
Well, of course I do. That one there. The inventor of cosmotelemetry. See her? Fought the Wonderwar spiders of Prague. That's right, I knew that. Single-handedly, I might add. That man there. He saved Antarctica from total annihilation. That's right. I know them all. It's my mission.
Your mission.
Yes, says the ultimate man. My mission.
There it is again. You referring to yourself as the ultimate man.
It is what I am, obviously. I am the pinnacle of science applied to the human form. From the day I was born, my diet, exercise sequences, and study regime have been scientifically calculated to create the perfect person. Powerful in both mind and body. Such as it was for my parents, who were trained much in the same way I was, and for their parents, and so on, guided by a secret society that started this quest hundreds of years ago, at the dawn of the Enlightenment.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh, you know, it would be if that society was still around. Turns out it's shockingly easy for Nazis to infiltrate a society focused on creating a perfect human form through selective breeding. Who would have thought? So, I killed them all and burned the society to the ground.
Oh, that seems a bit harsh.
I mentioned they were Nazis, didn't I?
Yeah, yes.
Make no mistake, son. Nazis ruin everything. Let that be a lesson to us all. Nazis ruin everything. You know, it's funny. It was not long after I choked the very life out of my mother and father that I met up with the Lacuna, and she
I'm
told
sorry.
me-
Did you just say you killed your parents?
I thought that I mentioned they were Nazis.
Not them specifically.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Everyone in the society, from the top down. My parents were true believers in Nazism. May they burn forever in the Stygian fires of damnation. You know, it's a strange thing. All your life, you're told what the rules are, what the goals are. I put up with a childhood consisting of nothing but lifting weights, poring over textbooks, and ingesting chemicals, because I was told it was for something better. I was to be a symbol of greatness. The ultimate man. But you have to be careful if you're a symbol. Symbols can be used by you. I was a wreck after that. I had all this power, this knowledge, but I had no purpose. Or rather, I had a purpose, but I was afraid to follow it, for I had been formed by dark intentions. How could I trust my own? I did everything I could to tilt the balance in the other way. I fought creatures that could only be described as evil incarnate. I've saved countless lives. I've diverted more disasters than I care to count, but I was just going through the motions. I was a shell, a ghost who walked and talked and kept up his training regimen because he did not know what else to do. And I had fooled everyone. Everyone but her. Everyone but the Lacuna. She saw right through my act. She saw the dead man living inside me. Saw the fear behind each and every act of bravery. She was a detective of the old school, one whose eyes missed nothing, and she saw right through me. Why do you do this? She asked me. And I told her the answer that I give everyone, that it was the right thing to do. And she looked at me with those eyes that she has, the ones that scream how much she doesn't believe you. And she asked me again, why do you do this? So I told her the truth, which I did not even know at the time. Not until the words left my mouth, I told her that I was alone. That I had personally seen to the destruction of all that I loved and knew. And that when I helped people, when I saved them, for one brief shining moment, I felt less of them. And she told me, she looked me in the eyes and she told me that I was not alone. That there were others like me, who life had dealt an extraordinary hand of cards, who also felt alone, who needed a place to gather, a club, that they could stand together, steadfast until the end of time. Don't you see? She started this. It's my mission to find all of you, to bring you here together. But she, the Lacuna, she started all of this. This, the End of Time Club. The lot of it. What's the slogan of the End of Time Club? Steadfast until the end of time. Well, it's not the end of time. Not yet. She should be here. Don't you understand that? She should be here. There's no reason for her not to be.
No reason you know.
Exactly. Don't you see? Doesn't anybody see?
We do, old boy, we do. Parker plays a spell, and let no dilly boy take the Polaire. Operative 7 at your service.
Is that your given name?
It was given to me, and it's the one I'm giving you. Make no mistake, sport, I'm not a number. But a number will serve our purposes just fine for now.
You just want me to call you Operative 7.
Well, I've certainly been screeched at worse by a Miss Sharpie. Well, that's a blank eke if I ever bother. I'll table the Polari, will I? You'll forgive me, I do so enjoy speaking in code.
Doc Cosmos mentioned that you were a secret agent of the Shadow Government?
Well, the past tense is incorrect, but otherwise it's spot on. Cheers.
What's that like, being a secret agent?
You mean being a spy? Well, paperwork, mostly. Forms and files and other sorts of ridiculousness.
That can't be all there is.
Well, it isn't. It's... Well, I don't want to say thrilling, because that would paint the wrong picture. But there is something about stage managing the rest of the world that sets one's pulse a thump. There are those who enjoy being center stage, and then there are those of us who prefer to make sure the right props are in people's hands, and the scenery falls away on cue.
A lot of power in that position.
Indeed. Cheers. We are being honest, aren't we? Something about the nature of wakes, I suppose. The proximity to death does tend to bring out the need to divest oneself of the lies we tell ourselves. I've certainly been around enough fellows on the cusp of death to know. We spend so much of our lives lying, to ourselves, mostly. But there are some things that we must admit to ourselves as true. Our expectant end, for example.
I imagine you do a lot of lying as a spy.
Too much. I never did like that part of the job, you see. Not why I joined the service.
Why did you join?
Secrets. I'm the sort of fellow that wants to see the end of time coming. I was almost a priest for much the same reason. The confessional business, you see. Someone revealing the very thing they've worked so hard to keep hidden to you and you alone. But spycraft ended up being the better route for my temperament. So here we are. That bit the Lacuna told the doctor here about the most important thing about someone being what you don't know, it's true. Which is why I've spent my career finding out those missing pieces, the secrets left untold. Shakespeare had a name for men like me, from the Scottish play, if you can believe it. Let me see if I can recall the lines. Did the show in uni long ago. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. There we go, old chap. Yours truly in a nutshell.
But someone else's words.
Well, I'm not at liberty to use my own. In any case, I found that truth is often found in others' mouths. So that's me, one of Night's black agents. The Lacuna was one as well, in her own way.
She was a spy?
Oh, heavens no. She'd never consent to working for someone else, even if that someone else was the head bigwig of the planet. Too much of a free spirit to be a spy. But God forbid your life choices were ever so mismanaged, you'd become her prey. No, she was not a spy, but she was one of us. And more importantly, one of me. I'd like to think we understood each other. At the very least, I was understood by her. There are things I cannot do, because of my work, because of my history, because of who I know and who knows me, because of who I am. I can't tell you my name. Secrets, you see. I don't know if the Lacuna knew precisely the things I can't do, the words I cannot say, but she understood. There's a language that is never spoken, a language of looks and glares, of winks and nods. It is a monument constructed of bricks of trust and held together by a mortar of history. Lovers speak in this language, as do a captain and his crew. I was not the Lacuna's lover, nor was she my captain. But we did share a common language. It's a pity she's gone. I'm not sure who I'll speak with that way again.
You don't share Doc Cosmos' certainty that the Lacuna might still be alive?
Heavens, no. But what did I say my game was? Secrets. Do try to keep up. Secrets. If the Lacuna were anywhere on God's green earth, don't you think I'd know? I know all the secrets.
You can't know all the secrets, and that would
That can't I, though? I know what kept you up until 3:17 in the morning last night. No one wants to be remembered for their violence, but perhaps it's better than not being remembered at all. In any case, if the Lacuna were alive, she has gone to an awful lot of trouble to make us think she's not, which means she's in hiding. In secret. And if there's one thing I know, it's how to find a secret.
Unless you're keeping that secret for her. Just the sort of dizzy copper a Dalion mi Polon might park to a Dorcas Polon on me.
Quite right. Vada the bon servero on you. Well, I think I've said enough. Any more, and I'd have to kill you. Rockney, be a dear and come save me. Surely you have something to say to this chap.
I don't do interviews.
These aren't interviews.
Aren't they? I'm not like Operative 7. I can't smile and call something what it isn't.
Cheers.
This sort of pantomime doesn't interest me.
Well, what does interest you?
Justice. The guilty punished. The innocent saved, a tomorrow less dark than today. Not so different from my fellow club members. I'm certain you could get the same answers from them.
But there is something different about you, Rockney. Is that what you said your name was?
I didn't. I've been called many things. Rockney is one of them. I've also been called the Shadow, the Black Widow, the Bat, the Avenger. I've been called both death itself and the bride of death, which I find particularly amusing. I'm not altogether certain I'd marry myself. Fidelity would be easy enough. But would I find me compatible? Doubtful.
That's funny.
Is it? It's a rictus grin. The dead's judgment on the joke of the living. It's rude, I suppose, but when have the dead ever listened?
You're talking about the Lacuna.
I'm talking about me. I died years ago. The calloused hands of a violent, petty man. There's no shortage of men like that in the world. Just as there's no shortage of women like me, who've suffered and died for the vanity of their anger, was left to rot, bloodied and bruised, like countless corpses before me. The end of time happens every day to someone. But unlike my sisters, my life was replaced with something else. A vengeance. A rage. A need to see justice done. Delivered to the men who might escape it.
Wait, you're dead?
This is why I don't do interviews.
This isn't an interview.
Call things what they are. I don't deal with clever obfuscations. I can't. Lying is a luxury of the living. To the dead, things are what they are. Call an interviewer an interviewer, a dead woman a dead woman. The most important thing is what you don't know. The sooner you can clear that up, the better. Doc Cosmos, over there. Wondered how I could take bullets to the chest and still live? Well, now you know, Doc. I can't. I haven't lived for some time. I'm a ghost who walks, who can fire a gun, who can make the guilty finally reckon up for their sins. Not so different from the Lacuna, in my own way.
Was she dead too? Before recently, I mean.
No, she was a living, breathing woman. Abigail can attest to that. But she was a detective. Do you know what that means? To be a detective. I am not a detective. Detection for me is obvious ever since I was reborn. The same energy that moves these dead limbs lets me see the guilty, clear as night. I see things for what they are, but the Lacuna, she didn't have the clarity death bequeaths. She had to be a detective. She had to look at a crime scene, to gaze at the remains of violence and depravity and pull the horror back together, bit by bit. She had to reconstruct where the knife fell, how hard the bone must have been struck to break like that. Every crime was an undiscovered country, and she would not return from it until she had mapped it all. Not so different from what we're doing now, I suppose, but this is a ham-handed, a childish fumbling. We are not detectives. That's the irony of all this. The Lacuna, she would have solved her own mystery long ago. She could have told us why she's not with us today. That was her genius. Anyone can figure out the hows, given enough time, but the whys are elusive. My dead eyes see more than you do. Unclouded by the hopes life offers, I can see what you've done. But even I can't see the whys. It's perhaps the only important question, which is why children never stop asking it. It's the one thing I don't know.
Which then makes it the most important.
The Lacuna would think so. She was a detective. I often wondered what she saw when she looked at me. Did she see a crime scene? The blood of the guilty on my hands? My own blood. The blood of the innocent pooled at my feet. Did she see a corpse? A phantom? I'd like to believe she saw none of those. She saw me as a woman, a friend, a fellow soldier against the crime that seeks to overrun this planet. She didn't see the horror underneath my skin, the rage that animates me and would terrify anyone who got too close. I'd like to believe she didn't see that. I'd like to believe she only saw the best of me. But that's not true. She was a detective. She saw it all. She saw the woman and the monster, the avenger and the victim, the ghoul and the lost soul. She must have. We are what we are. She saw it all. She never acted like it. I still don't know why. I think you do. I don't deserve her good faith.
she thought you did. That should be enough.
This is why I don't do interviews.
This isn't.
Why don't you talk to me? I quite like interviews. I've given several. But how else are people going to remember the things you've done unless they talk about it? Memories are so short these days. It helps to put things in writing.
Well, you've certainly had your fair share of press. Abigail Earhart, breaker of airspeed records, of flying distant records, of sound barriers.
But don't forget the dimensional barrier. That was a doozy.
What was that like?
It was like, have you flown?
Well,
Not as a passenger, I mean, but as a pilot, flying, but where you were in control? No? Well, I'm not sure how I can explain it. It's hard for me to get into other people's heads, you know? I've only ever had this one.
that's alright. What was it like when you got there? The other dimension, I mean.
It was nice. Animals could talk.
Oh, I've been there!
Fun, right? I don't know what else to say. I'm not really into destinations. Journeys are more important. I would scribble all over my parents' maps as a kid, plotting pathways from place to place, always more interested in connecting the dots than the dots themselves. Jimena would say my Kami is one that's always on a journey, but I don't know about that.
I'm sorry, Jimena?
Jimena, the Lacuna. No point in keeping that a secret now. Jimena Kondo. Did you know she comes from a line of Shinto priests and shrine maidens? We visited her family temple once. Oh, it is beautiful. Top of a mountain in Tateyama. That's on her father's side. She said her mother's side was all Chilean poets. She was joking, of course. They're not all Chilean poets. There's only like a dozen. Her great-great-grandfather made shoes. Anyway, the Lacuna was her work name, her nom de magnifying glass. One morning, she was making breakfast, and I asked her, oh, wait, oh, I got it. Popcorn. You've popped popcorn, right? You watched it pop.
Yeah, I've had popcorn.
Yeah, but you watched it too, right? It's important that you watched it. It's important for what I'm trying to say. Okay, you know a popcorn kernel, right before it pops, gets all shuddery for a moment, and then boom, it explodes. It was like that.
What was like that?
Crossing the dimension barrier. But now that I think about it, that's how it was with Jimena too. Gosh, she just had this energy about her. Made me feel like popcorn just to be around her. Oh, funny story. So, I crash landed in Marrakesh, and I was in the hospital with a busted wing and some ribs that were in the wrong place, and I was hooked up to one of those things, the ones that beat with your heart. Oh, maybe it was Marrakesh. Anyway, Jimena was there, and when she held my hand, true story, my heart beat faster. It wasn't just my imagination. We had scientific proof. I think it beats slower now. There's a weight, you know? It's harder to beat with that weight. I didn't want to do this.
Well, we can stop.
No, not this. This. The wake. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to be in the sky, going somewhere, anywhere but here. But this weight. This weight. Can I even get off the ground with this lead in my chest? Jimena would have wanted me to be here. She was always saying that I get too caught up in my own head, that I should be with more people. But it's hard. It's hard to be with people. Hard to be out of my own head, hard to be on the ground, but that was Jimena all over. That's all she did. I mean, I took her flying, and I would catch her, sometimes alone with her own thoughts. At least I think they were her own thoughts. She might have been trying to think with someone else's thoughts to solve another mystery. Sometimes, I think that's why she liked me. That I wasn't a mystery. I don't need much, just flying, really. A plane and a map. There was always so much going on with her. So much I couldn't see. I mean, I'm not a detective. I'm a pilot. I tend to fly over difficult terrain, not charge through the weeds. But Jimena, she was the weed charger. Is that a thing? A weed charger? Yeah. I get that though. Being a detective, she had to work backwards. She started from her destination. For her, it was all about the journey. She explained that to me one morning as she made breakfast. Eggs. She was frying eggs, and she was explaining Kami to me, and oh God. I didn't realize at the time. I only just realized it now, talking to you. Only just now. She wasn't explaining Kami. She was saying how much we were alike. I didn't notice it then. I was thinking about the eggs. They were good eggs. I complimented her on the eggs. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did that much. Can't believe I missed that. How much else did I miss? There's so many holes now. So many empty spaces. Were they always there? Was I too far up to see them? Or did she make them when she left? I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I don't know if this weight is going to lift. I mean, is it a weight or is it a hole? I don't know. All of a sudden, I am a mystery to myself, and I'm not a detective. If I wasn't a mystery to Jimena, it's because she solved me. The moment we met. In the air, anything can happen. Weather can change a good flight into a doomed one. One loose bolt can cost the whole crate. I'm so used to everything changing in the air, I wasn't ready for it when it happened on the ground. There's something she told me once that I never understood till now. Nothing is promised. The end of time can come at any moment. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't think I do.
You're a horrible liar. Is that a good trait in a reporter?
It puts folks at ease. It's okay, Abby. I'll take it from here.
I was in the middle of an interview, so.
You were at the end of an interview. And now you're at the beginning of a new one. That's how time works, you see. Space, too. All just keeps going.
I don't know what else I can say.
You don't have to say anything. Thank you for coming here.
Well, thanks for endorsing me for membership.
I like your show. I thought you fit in here.
I gotta say, I was surprised when Doc Cosmos called you Lord Brave.
That's not my name. I'm just Tom. Tom Brave. That's it.
But why did he call you Lord?
How much of this galaxy have you seen? You seem pretty well traveled. Have you been around the Azor sector, I bet?
Well, yeah, I've been around there, and I spent some time in the Scarlet sector, too.
You ever been to the Mikado sector?
No.
Neither have most people. Found it by accident myself. Got caught in an A-lift. Do yourself a favor. Stay away from an A-lift. Oh my God. An A-lift is a point in space and time where every other point in space and time is visible and reachable. When you're in an A-lift, you are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. A small step can take you to the other side of the universe. I tried to go back. That was my mistake. I tried to step backwards out of an A-lift, back to Earth. But we can't retrace our steps exactly, can we? No. And so I was not aware of where I was going. Long story short, I ended up on Mikado. There was a merciless fascist dictator, and I inspired the people to overthrow him. I didn't need any armies, I didn't command any troops. I was just there. I gave speeches, plan to be there at the right time. I'm not a fighter.
You're wearing a sword and a ray gun.
They go with the dress uniform.
That's a dress uniform?
It is on Mikado.
You're not a fighter, but you wear weapons. You didn't command in the armies, but you've got on a military uniform.
I contain multitudes.
Clearly.
Look, I don't like being called Lord, because that's not who I am. I was part of the liberation of the Mikado Empire. I stopped the merciless monster who enslaved billions. I did that, and I'm proud of it. That's why I wear the uniform. But I came back from Mikado. I came back here. And, well, you live here. You understand. I got back home, and all of the things I fought against on Mikado, they're right here. May not be as obvious as a mustache-twirling dictator, and trust me, Mikado could sure twist a mustache.
Wait, Mikado was the dictator, and the planet you were on, and the name of the sector.
You can see what kind of man he was, that he insisted on naming everything after himself.
I'm starting to get an image, yes. So you come back.
So I come back, and it's a mess down here. It's just a mess. I saved one world, but there's still so much more to do on this one. So much. I was a little despondent, really. Paralyzed. My thoughts were going 1,000 miles an hour. I didn't know where to begin or if I was done or what. But the Lacuna, she said something to me. Now, I don't know her as well as Doc or Abby or some of the others. But she told me something that got her to go out every night to do what she did. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. It's simple, but there's power in it. Make no mistake. Lord is a title for a man of leisure. I still have so much left to do. Say, when you go into space, when you went to the Scarlet Sector, to say, did you take a rocket? How'd you go?
Oh, I've got a wrist-mounted gravity-based full processor. I backed the Kickstarter.
Good on you, man. Oh, that would it creates a fold in space and time, moves it all around you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, you're missing out, my friend. I ended up on Mikado by A-Lift, but I took the long way home. Traveled by rocket. Most of it was done by walk, that's true. But the start and the finish was slow enough that I could take in the stars between the planets. Take in the space. There's a lot of emptiness out there. So many populated worlds in our galaxy. But you wouldn't know it to look. They're all so far apart. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's necessary. All that space. I know Doc, Abby, and Seven, Rockney. They all want the same thing. The one thing they don't know. They want a why. When you look at yourself, or look at the universe through an A-Lift, everything's crushed together. It's easy to get lost in the jumble, to see patterns where none exist, to believe that one action influenced another, even though there are galaxies away. But here's the thing that occurred to me coming home, looking at all that space. Sometimes there is no why. Some things don't happen for a reason. Or rather, some things happen just to happen. Sometimes a piece is missing not because it was lost or misplaced. An empty space. It's not necessarily a void needing to be filled. It doesn't matter what should be there or could be there. All that matters is what surrounds it. It is the gap between planets that makes the journey towards one an epic undertaking. It is the distance between us that makes those moments when we become close something special. It is the space between my words that allows you to understand what I am saying. There is no end of time. Even at moments like this, when it feels like everything should stop, it goes on. That's comforting. It's also frustrating in equal measure, but it cannot be denied. We honor the Lacuna's absence, not by wishing that she was here, but by recognizing who we are now that she's not.
She'd like that. She used to tell me, to a detective, what isn't there is just as important as what is.
Well then, here's to being detectives then. Cheers.
It's just... I can't imagine a world without her. I can't imagine a world without me either. I can't imagine a world without any of you. What a dark and hollow thing.
You don't have to imagine it that way. Imagine a new world.
To a brave new world. Without such people in it.
Maybe just the first part.
Agreed. What did I tell you? The boys got away with words.
To a brave new world, steadfast until the end of time.
And that's our show! This episode, The Voice of Free Planet X, was written and directed by me, Jared Axelrod, and could not have existed without the incredible performances of
Andy Holman.
Len Webb.
Phil Thomas.
Issa St. Clair, Sonia Williams.
special thanks to the Art Church of West Philadelphia, where we are. And to the Philadelphia Podcast Festival. We're in the middle of only the first weekend. There's still many more shows today, many more shows tomorrow, many more shows next weekend. You can see by the posters, including the Black Tribbles have a show at 6 at Album Comics later today.
Oh yeah, that's right, I gotta go.
Which is going to be amazing. Thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. The show, if you'd like to hear more of it, I'm sure you already know, is at planetx.libsyn.com. Just about everyone here has been on a previous show. You will all be on future shows. So if you like these people, then you should better subscribe to the show. Hear more of them.
Should we take it back?